direction now. And if there was, we wouldn't find it anyway. You're too afraid to open to the things to say. I could have left, but I fell right back behind.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of Corey's Wall of Sound, and it's the rate a discography from a band that I've liked for quite a while. And 89, 88, 89, that's probably more than quite a while when you think about it. Yeah, I think I've liked this band for quite a long time. And I'm talking about WARRANT for episode 4. And I know there's going to be people out there going, oh, Cherry Pie. Yeah, there's a little bit more to that band than Cherry Pie. Actually, there was quite a lot more to that band than Cherry Pie, I reckon. Now, look, you know, they're not the type of band that you would probably namesake if you were to talk about bands that you were into in the 80s or 90s, but I don't really have a problem with it. I think WARRANT back then were a good band. I think even now, with the new singer, they're a good band. New singer Robert Mason, he's been around, he's been with Lynch Mob and a few other things, but he's been on the last 2 albums, which I will actually talk about a little bit. But before we go through them, as you know, it's my opinion, it's just my favourite list. So yeah, people can disagree, agree, come up with your own list. That's cool, do that, because I actually like watching other people's interpretations of this kind of stuff. And I think we'll start off, I want to talk about, I don't normally bring up the live albums, but this one here, the WARRANT live album, which I think came out in 96, 97. I think it's actually got the years written on it, 96, 97. Well, from 86 to 97. But let me tell you, this is actually a pretty decent sounding live album. And some of the standouts for me, Uncle Tom's Cabin, of course, Family Picnic and AYM I found to be really good live numbers, which came out on albums a bit later on into their career. I Saw Red, yeah, I mean, all this stuff, it actually sounds really good live. Yeah, if you're into live albums, I think the WARRANT one is definitely worth checking out. Before I go on to the normal discography, because I'm only going to cover the Janie Lane period of WARRANT. You know, and of course there's the Greatest Hits album. They did a covers album called Under the Influence, which is all good. But I won't rate those because it's kind of pointless in a way. Now, Janie Lane did not record on the last 3 releases from WARRANT, and I'm talking about Born Again from 2006, which was Jamie St. James from Black and Blue filled the spot as vocalist on that. I don't own that album. I have heard it. I probably need to give it another go, but that wasn't even going to be in this list anyway. But I think I will. I'll give it another, because he's a good singer. I think at the time it just didn't sound right for WARRANT, but maybe if I listen back to it now, it could be actually pretty good, which I do find with music quite a lot. I'm not sick. I've just got a bit of a throaty thing going at the moment. Okay, so now the 2 albums that they've released recently, and I'm talking about 2011 with Rockaholic and 2017 with Louder, Faster, Harder, or Louder, Harder, Faster, depends on which way you want to do it, doesn't really bother me. This is a killer album with Robert Mason. I think some of this, Dusty's Revenge is just like, it should have been a classic. You know, Sex Ain't Love, it's a great song, you know. Home even is great, you know, little ballady kind of deal going there. Great album. if you like Warrant and hard rock, that's definitely worth getting. This one here came out in 2017. I didn't grip onto it as much as I did with Rockaholic, but it's still a really good album. Yeah, and I think the song Perfect's pretty good. I like Louder, Harder, Faster, the sound, the opening track, which is of course the name of the album. I think for who they are and what they're doing at the moment, I think they're on a pretty good deal musically. I don't know about their record deal. That could be Frontiers. Could be good. You know, Frontiers are a pretty decent label. They've got a lot of bands under their label. They look after Spread Eagle, of course, which everyone who knows me knows is my favourite band. And okay, so we're going to start the countdown now from my least favourite down to my favourite. And of course, I've got my buddy Little Creatures with me again tonight. I want to try and make it a tradition that every time I do one of these, and it is only once a week roughly, that I will have a beer to go with it. Because yeah, just makes me feel a little bit looser, and it's all good. Okay, going to the Warrant discography with Only Janie Lane Remember. So I'm going to start off with the last one that he was a part of, which is Belly to Belly. And this came out, we're talking 96. And by this point, they were really trying to do something very different than what they had been doing previously. They kind of slowly moved into this area with their sound, but there's nothing really that stands out on this album that I think it would have let a lot of people down that were big Warrant fans. I think it was a bad time for them as far as what was big around 96. I mean, you know, if you remember what was big around 96, and then you try and fit Warrant into that, especially coming off the song Cherry Pie, which they were famous for, obviously. It was a bit of a hard deal, and I think it showed, like, they sound frustrated on this album. They sound a bit lost. They wanted to go down different areas, and they certainly did that. And, you know, this album doesn't suck. It's just not right for the time. It wasn't probably right for the band. But I guess they had to keep their rotation going as far as probably keeping their contract up to date and stuff like that. So they probably would just put that out, you know, who knows. But, you know, unless you ask one of the guys, you may never know. My second least favourite, and I do like this a lot better than Belly to Belly, but Ultraphobic, which definitely adjusted more to the 90s sound. Certainly went down areas they hadn't been through before, which led to where they went with Belly to Belly. This is kind of like an in-between from your classic Warrant into the Warrant that got lost out in space somewhere in that whole mid-90s deal. But, you know, Crawl Space is a great song off here. Followed Undertow. Undertow's a killer track, the opening track. What else is there? Oh, Stronger Now, great song. Janie Lane's Daughter apparently has just covered that. I need to have a listen to it. Yeah, Ultraphobic, this is a really good album. I do like this a lot. And yeah, I think for the old Warrant fans, have a bit of an open mind with this one. It will grow on you. But yeah, good effort considering this was what we're looking at, 95. So right in the middle of that gloomy time of the music industry. You know, I mean, even grunge was dead at that point. It was kind of lost, you know, no one knew where they were going, and it was kind of, there was nothing. Yeah, Manson was just starting to pick up a bit, but yeah, it was just a weird time. My third favourite Warrant Now this was hard because this nearly got second, but an album that definitely brings back a lot of good memories. I remember hearing it in Twilight Records back in '89 or late '88, beginning of '89. And I'm talking about the first album, Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinkin' Rich. And they did have, I remember hearing it and thinking, you know, it's hard rock and it's kicking, but they had like a bit of a twist in their songwriting that kind of, I don't know, set them apart a little bit from what was coming out at the time. They were kind of, you know, they weren't afraid to be happy in their video clips and their photo shoots, and you know, they kind of acted as the big kids of the scene. And you know, the whole oh, I can't remember what they called themselves, but something about being the sexiest band or something, where they had the whole, you know, I don't know, I can't even remember now because it's pretty forgettable, but great album, 32 pennies, the opening track's great. It's got a very different, what would you call it? Just the way the song kind of flows. It doesn't have your normal chorus, verse, chorus type thing going. Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinkin' Rich. Heaven's a great song. Down Boys, you know, there's a couple of tunes on here that are a bit corny, but at the time it was good fun, I guess. Big Talk I always thought was a good one. Fell Down Pretty, It Should Be Against the Law. Another great one. In the Sticks, I think it's probably my favourite on here. That's a really good song. Yeah. But yeah, third favourite is Warrant and Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinkin' Rich. Awesome. Okay, moving on to my second favourite. Now there's only two left, so we're getting there. Second favourite will have to go to Cherry Pie. Like I said before, a lot of people only know Warrant for that song. And yeah, it's a bit like Kiss Lick It Up to me. Like, great album, but you can kind of forget the title track because this is the kind of same thing to me. I mean, it's actually a good song, but I guess it's been thrashed and you kind of don't care if you ever want to hear it again. But the rest of the album is really good. Uncle Tom's Cabin. Which was going to be the name of the album before the record company told Janie Lane that before they release the album they want a hit, a little bit like Love in an Elevator by Aerosmith. Janie Lane, even Lane, I would say, went home, wrote Cherry Pie, and the rest is history. And of course that was a big song for them, and put this album, I'm pretty sure it was top 10. I don't know where it came, but I'm pretty sure it was top 10 in America and possibly here in Australia. But Uncle Tom's Cabin, what a great song. I Saw Red, it's probably definitely my favourite two Warrant songs of all time. Lyrically, it's just heartbreaking. A very special song to me is Mr. Rainmaker. I love that song a lot, and And if you heard it, you would too, because it's just one of those songs that you can't help but love. This is a really good album, man. I mean, yeah, Cherry Pie, Bobby Brown, that's not actually her on the cover, but she was in the video clip. She ended up marrying Janie Lane. They had a daughter. Janie, of course, died. Gee, I can't remember what year it was. Late thousands. Yeah. He had massive problems with alcohol and drugs, and unfortunately it got the better of him. But yeah, very famous album for them, and rates at number 2 for me. Now, number 1, a lot of people probably didn't even hear of this album, but it was their third, the one after Cherry Pie. And this came out in 92, when things were going pretty well for this genre of music. Well, in Australia at least. In America it was already starting to fade out. But anyway, I'm talking about Warrant, Dog Eat Dog. Now, the reason I like this one the best would be the songwriting got a little bit, it followed from the really good songs from Cherry Pie, like Uncle Tom's Cabin, Mr. Rainmaker, and carried on and, and wrote songs like, my 2 favourite on here are The Hole in My Wall and April 2031, which is about the apocalypse. And that's 11 years away, so I wonder how close they are lyrically to what will happen in the future in 11 years' time. But I'll tell you what, if the lyrics are anything to go by, it's not looking too good. But for Janie Lane to write a song like 2031 back in 92, looking at the way things are in the world at the moment, it's a very interesting deal. Hole in My Wall, well, you can come up with your own conclusion on what that would mean, but it's a real groover. It's pretty sexy, and if you got groove and sex in your music, then you're doing pretty well. And they certainly did on that track. Machine Gun, that's a classic opener. What else have we got here? Bonfire's a great song. Bitter Pill's a good song. All My Bridges Are Burning, Quicksand, Let It Rain. Inside Out, which was actually an older song that they used to open their tours with, I think even on their first tour. And they didn't release it until their third album, which is strange. But yeah, so that's it. That's my favourite. Dog Eat Dog, Warrant. I'm going to go backwards now. So favourite. Second favourite is Cherry Pie. Great album. If you could put the slice of pie to the side and listen to the rest. Third favourite is Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinkin' Rich. It was just a great debut. Did great for them. My fourth favourite is Ultraphobic, and then going to the last album that Janie Lane appeared on as an original album, and that is, of course, Belly to Belly, which is a little bit not as great as what they had done previous, unfortunately. It's not the songwriting that was really lacking, it was maybe the direction. Definitely had a lot to do with the times as well. Mid-90s wasn't very kind to a lot of bands that had come through from the late or the mid-80s, late 80s, whatever, early 80s. But yeah, that's Warrant, and that's my favourites in order. And I know that I've got a couple of people keen to come on. Obviously, I've got to be a bit careful at the moment because there's a lot of cops about and not allowed to do this kind of thing and invite people over and have a beer with them. It's not allowed to do it anymore at the moment. So we'll have to hang on. I might even try and organise where I can hook up somehow and do like I don't know. I'm not really that tech savvy when it comes to hooking up, going live with other people or anything like that. So maybe I should look into it, or if anyone wants to help me out, I'm pretty keen to listen and learn and do all that. So we do have a few good ones coming up. Pantera will be coming up. Kiss with Makeup albums will be coming up. And I think we may even do Queensryche. But, well, yeah, Rat is another one. I know there's a request for Rat. We'll get Rat. Alice Cooper. I don't have all the albums of Alice. I could listen to them, or that will take a little while, obviously. I have a lot, but not all of them. But anyway, either way, we're going to be back for episode 5 at some point real soon, whether it's just me or me and a special guest. But either way, just hang back, have a couple more beers. If you're at home and you're not doing much, play music, you know. Check out some of the stuff that I've been talking about on my Corey's Wall of Sound episodes, and yeah, check them out to see if there's anything that you like, and you know, definitely put your opinions in the comments below, because it's good fun for me to read back and check it out. So yeah. Until next time, what can I say but keep rocking, look after yourself, be safe, and just rock it out. See you later.
To meet you, you're falling from the sky, and I'll meet you down at the river. I'll see you from the other side. Crash down too far in your depressions, counting all of the scars in your complex.